Hello and welcome to episode 46 of the Wisdom from the Akasha podcast. My name is Susie. I am your host and I am an Akashic Records teacher and practitioner. In today's episode, I just wanted to give you some tips to help you navigate your way through the holiday season. I know that lots of you will be struggling with spending time with family members who you may not see eye to eye with, you may have different beliefs to. And I wanted to give you these tips so that you can try and use the holiday season as a deep learning and exploration for yourself to help your own spiritual evolution. Tip number one is to use any situation in which you feel triggered, you feel uncomfortable with. Try to use it as a learning opportunity in respect of asking yourself the question, why am I triggered here? Life and everything that comes with life, the people we have in our lives, the situations we go into, are all going to provide us with opportunities to continually ask ourselves the question, what is the lesson here? And although getting together with family members can be really uncomfortable, quite chaotic, can be extremely triggering, they are amazing opportunities to really put your spiritual development and evolution into practice and say, right, okay, what is it that that person has said that has triggered something within me? What wound is still there? Or what belief do I need to let go of? What belief have they attacked? What is it that is making me feel so triggered? So try to use any situations that arise during this time as a way of try to have in the back of your mind during this time the question, what is the lesson here? You will have soul contracts with all of the family members that you come into contact with over the Christmas period. Some of those are going to be empowering and some of them are going to feel very disempowering. And the way that we can grow from, move through, and eventually let go of soul contracts like these are by actually taking on board what the lesson is that the contract is offering. Tip number two is going to really challenge you, and that's a good thing, I hope. And it's ask yourself, how open can I keep my heart throughout the day? And pay attention to when you're closing your heart down. When you keep your heart open, you'll feel expansive, you'll feel empowered, you'll feel very connected to unconditional love. And of course, when you're put into situations like this, it can be very hard to keep your heart open. So, again, use these types of situations to really feel into, in these types of situations, in these discussions with people, I'm able to keep my heart open. And in these types of discussions or with these types of people, I am closing myself off, because this is really going to help you understand where the work still is and where you are still putting yourself into a state of contraction. Tip number three is to remember that it's completely okay to take time out. I know lots of you will have different obligations, different family members that you'll be visiting, maybe have people staying with you, maybe staying somewhere different. But it is always completely okay to say that you need time out. We need rest. Rest is a complete essential and it is a sacred practice. If you do find yourself needing to take yourself off and get some rest, that is completely okay. Remember that there are 7 types of rest. We have physical rest, mental rest, emotional rest, sensory rest, creative rest, social rest, and spiritual rest. And we are in winter. Even though the holiday season tends to fall for most of us in winter, energetically we are in winter, so we are in a hibernation phase, we are in very much of a shutdown phase. Do try to give yourself permission just to have 5 or 10 minutes or 30 minutes away from the chaos and the confusion and all these different energies, especially if you're empathic and you find yourself getting very overwhelmed with different people's energies. Tip number 4 is about getting really honest with yourself and pay attention to when you find yourself judging. Judgment is an action that the ego undertakes, and the ego absolutely loves to judge other people. And a lot of the time, if we are around people of a similar level of consciousness, a similar vibration, we feel safe, we feel supported, we feel cared for. And then when we come around people who are perhaps a different level of consciousness or a different vibratory level, rather than trying to keep our heart open and operate from a place of complete unconditional love for all, seeing the other as ourselves and understanding that their viewpoints, their perspectives are based on their level of consciousness, we can shift into spiritual ego and start to judge them and start to think, okay, well, that person's stupid because they believe that, or that person is so stuck in fear. I'm so much better than them, and I'm such a high vibe person, and they're so low vibe, I have to keep myself away from them. This is just spiritual ego in play. So be really conscious as to, are you being open? Are you holding space for people? Or are you slipping into judgment and ego? From a spiritual development and evolutionary perspective, you never actually know where somebody else is on their spiritual journey. Your spiritual development and evolution happens over many, many incarnations. So you may come across a family member who you decide that they are not spiritually evolved, or that you are more awakened and more evolved than them, and this could actually be completely untrue. So always remember that you don't know where anybody else is at on their spiritual journey, and that judgment is a function of the ego. Tip number 5 goes hand in hand with tip number 4. So if you do find yourself being very judgmental, slipping into that energy, try to really be mindful of your intentions and your communication. You are only ever responsible for yourself. You can't control anybody else. You can't control people's opinions and perspectives and beliefs. But what you can do is you can be very mindful of your own. So get very clear on what your intentions are when you're entering a conversation or you're spending time with someone, and really try to find areas of common ground. If you find yourself wanting to start arguments or you're wanting to get deep into conflict with people, ask yourself, what's the intention behind this? Tip number 6 sounds really simple, but I think it's something that needs to be said in this day and age. And it's, be okay with people having different opinions and different perspectives. The way that social media is set up, the way that information distribution is set up in this day and age, we tend to get very specific information fed to us. What you will see if you are on social media is that you are going to receive similar videos. This is how the algorithms work. And one of the downsides of this is that we're losing the ability to be okay with people having differing opinions and perspectives. As most of you know, I was a teenager at the time before the internet existed, in its current form, and definitely before social media. And it was completely normal for friends to have different opinions and perspectives. We didn't expect everybody to believe the same as us or have the same perspectives of us. But we did respect each other's ideas and opinions. We would listen to each other, and we still may disagree. And that's completely okay. One of the things that makes humanity so beautiful is that we all do have different opinions and perspectives. And that should be something that is encouraged in a respectful way. Now, you may find that people in your family or your friends want to be very negative about your opinions and perspectives, or they want to shut down any beliefs you have. But we have to always try to be true to ourselves. And part of being open-hearted and aligned to the heart is about being okay with different beliefs, opinions, and perspectives, and ensuring that we are continually reevaluating our own beliefs and our own perspectives to see if we have become too attached to any of them, if we have developed fixed beliefs and opinions, or if we are still very open to different ideas and different perspectives. Tip number 7 is about do not be surprised if you don't feel energized and full of new year, new resolutions, and all of that nonsense. We're in winter, and winter is energetically a time of hibernation. For those of you who are on my newsletter mailing list, you will know that winter is very much the crone energy from a divine feminine energy perspective, and it's the endings, it's the letting go of things, it's grieving old parts of ourselves. So, from an energetic perspective, the end of December going into January is not the time to be planning for the next year. Energetically, the new year comes with spring. So, if you are connected to the energetics of Earth, which we all are as a human, but some people feel it more than most, and you're feeling that you're in winter, you're processing everything that has happened to you in the previous 12 months, and that you're just wanting to hibernate and rest and relax, that is completely okay. And that is in alignment with the energy of Earth at this time, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, of course. Do give yourself permission to move with the cycles of the seasons if this is something you're very connected to. Don't get sucked into the, oh, but I have to set all these resolutions, I have to set these plans, I have to set these intentions. That's not what this energy is about. Tip number 8 is really one that is to be used with all of the other tips, and that's to take a journal with you to a family vacation or to the holiday seasons if you're not going to be at home. Even if you are at home, have a journal handy and just make a note of anything that does come up, any way that you are triggered, any way that you do find yourself slipping back into old patterns and behaviors, judgments, things like that. You're not going to have a lot of time if you've got a busy holiday schedule planned. You're not going to have time to address things as and when they come up, which would be the ideal. But if you take a note of it and put it into your journal that these things are still coming up, then when it does come to your own spiritual practice, when maybe you're back at home or your relatives have left and gone back to their homes, you can then take what has come up into your spiritual practice and reflect on it, journal on it, meditate on it, use it as the tools to help you understand where you are, where you do still have stuff that needs to be transmuted or worked through. So don't lose the opportunity because you can't do it at the time. Just make a note of it and know that you can deal with it later, and then that can form the basis and the foundation for your work going forward into 2025. I hope that you have found these tips useful. I, of course, wish you and all of your family and friends an amazing holiday season. I do hope you get to eat some good food, watch some awful movies, and just have the best time with each other as best as you all can. And I shall see you all next week for the next episode.